It's doing something. So there we're live. Since I turned that knobby, my camera went nuts. Okay, hello, Charles.
Hello, Dee.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine. Except for my camera moved on me. Oh, Brabant. Mercury retrograde. Actually, it's supposed to be over now. Okay, how's that?
Beautiful.
All right. So, I thought we'd do a hangout tonight talking about death and how it affects people, the grieving process, and the differences in beliefs. You and I were talking earlier this morning, which I wasn't quite aware of how you felt or your belief system when you were growing up. We met in 1974, and I know at that time you said that your father had just passed away, and I know that you were really grieving for him. And you've been, and even when we got together now, a year ago, 2014, you were still grieving when you first came up here. Can you tell everybody your belief system and how you were brought up and how you thought about death?
Well, I was brought up biblical, and I always thought that once you're dead, you're dead. You'll never see him again. You'll never talk to him. You could talk to them, but they wouldn't answer back. And I would try to keep myself busy so I wouldn't think a lot about it. But if I didn't have nothing to do and sitting there doing nothing, I would start thinking and missing him. And, I'd
You were
start.
17 when he passed away. How old were you when he passed away?
17 or 18. I was a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was 18.
And you said that when he passed away, you basically gave up going. You didn't want to go to school. You weren't doing good with your grades. You were pretty devastated.
Right. I went from an average student to a D student, not really caring. My senior year, I started running around with the wrong crowd, got in trouble, started stealing stuff, and just thinking about him, and thinking that once you're gone, and you either go to heaven or hell. And that went on for years and years. And sometimes I just sit there and cry about it. Because I knew I'd never see him again. And now, when you called me April 28, 2014, you started talking to me about, how you could communicate with him. And I decided to come up here and see you because I missed you. And you started talking to me, and I flew up here. Well, before that, you started talking to me about you communicate with him. And you tell me how you use the spirit box to talk to him.
Uh-huh.
And when I come up here, I was kind of skeptical. I thought, you can't talk to the dead. You proved me wrong. I was up here probably no more than a couple days, and the tree come on. You told me about either the tree or the touch tone lamp would come on. And
Right.
was it the tree or the touch tone lamp come on first?
We'd have to check the audios.
Yeah.
I think it was the touch tone lamp, and then they started doing the Christmas tree after that.
Yeah, out of respect for your mom, because that was her touch tone lamp.
Right,
Then,
because it started getting confused.
yeah. And then the tree started coming on. And we do spirit box sessions. And I found out that, I could talk to him. He would talk to me about things only him and I knew about.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool. It kept coming on almost 3-4 times a week. And we'd have sessions, and I get to talk to him. And my little brother passed away in 2011. That one devastated me too. But, I got to talk to him too. And poor guy was a heroin addict. And I asked him what happened. He said he screwed up. He should have listened to me. And I asked him what happened, and he said he was speedballing, which is using smoking crack and doing heroin. And he said he should have listened to me. But anyway, about my dad, I grieved longer with him because that was back in 72.
Right. It was like 40 some years that you were grieving, even so bad that you were drinking and quite
Yeah,
heavily sometimes because of the thought of it.
yeah, for the first few years, I lost a couple jobs because of my drinking. I would drink and close bars down, and sometimes I'd sleep in the parking lot at work, and they politely laid me off. And then I just kept drinking to drown my sorrows, and I'd wake up, my pain would still be there.
Right. So the drinking didn't solve anything.
Nope.
It just minimized it while you were drinking, socializing and drinking, and then you'd wake up and the same life was still there.
Right.
Yeah.
I grieved for a long, long time over that.
Right. Until
And
you
then,
were basically forced to quit drinking, and that's when you finally stopped.
yeah, my health got bad, and the doctor told me, you want to live, you better quit drinking. So just up 2007, I just up and quit drinking. Just like
So,
it.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all I was going to say. I just stopped cold turkey.
So once you quit drinking, how did you handle your mourning then and your grieving? Because then your brother had passed away after that. So what did you do to help with grieving then?
Uh, I'd start smoking pot, and that kind of killed the pain too. But you know, I would still grieve, but I wasn't drinking. And you know, sometimes I just break down, bawl like a baby.
Well, that's because you were thinking that you would never see them again. I mean, your belief was a little bit different when I was raised, when I grew up, when I was a child. How I was raised was different. Um, I was Lutheran, Zion Lutheran. I was raised, but we always had the hope that once we passed away, that our passed away loved ones would be standing there waiting for us, holding their hands and saying, "Come with us. We're going to heaven." You know.
Yeah,
So there was, I always knew that I would see them. You know, I never thought of it as never ever again. I've always, when I was growing up, my grandfather passed away. Um, my my father's father had passed away, and then my mother's father had passed away, and then they were the first ones that had passed away, and I really didn't know what to think of it, but I knew that through my learning through church that I would see them again. You know, I would see them when I passed away.
right.
So I guess that for me it helped a little bit in the grieving process then to think that I would never ever 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 never think. That's a hard one to process for me, because I've always thought I'm going to see them. I will see them again. They'll greet me with open arms, and we'll have our time again together when after I pass away. So I just continue living and doing my life and think about them, and you know but as far as me, and then we had gone, like, in Memorial Day, my mother would always go to the graves, um, and put flowers, so I guess we would go there and talk to them. And you always had a hope that when you were there and you put the flowers down, you said a prayer, and you would talk out loud and talk to them and say you love them and you miss them, and I guess you always hope that they heard. But then when I grew older, and my grandmother had passed away and stuff, then um, I had more of a different understanding that they turn into angels.
Right.
Right. They like my grandfather, my grandmother, they're angels now, and they're looking over us. They're always watching us, always looking over us, you know. And so I always felt, well, they're around me, they're watching over us. So it gave me comfort to know that my grandmother was watching over me. So
Right.
nothing happened to me. But now when you grew up, even in your adult life, you always had that same philosophy, which is really hard. So when you went to the graveyard, you went there and visited and felt that they heard you or hoped that they heard you.
I hope that he did. And I would talk to him, tell him how things were going, and that I really missed him. And he, he's always on my mind. And I hope you hear me. And I love you and I miss you. But it was
Yeah.
really, really tough on me.
Right, because it was something of the unknown. I mean, you even had doubts if they could even hear you at that time, you know.
Right.
So it made it really, really rough. But at least I thought, well, they could hear me. And when I got older, I figured they could hear me and watch over me, protect me.
Right.
So that added so much more comfort, you know. But it wasn't until, well, and I didn't know anything about what you would say paranormal or afterlife or anything like that until like 1999, and I had saw my first spirits. I moved into a house in Indiana, and every day at the same time they would cross over from my bedroom, which was the old kitchen of the house, and cross over to the office, which was the living room. So I meant I saw them and went, "Holy Dinah, what did I see?" And when they crossed back over, I ran down the hallway and looked around and went, "Holy, did I see what I saw?" But when it happened all the time, it almost, I would look for it and see them and say, "Oh, they're going in the living room. They must be watching TV or something in their living room." Like it was. And so somebody had said, "Well, it's probably residual." They did that all the time, so many years that in that old part of the house that it was residual. So I never thought anything of it. Didn't think any more of it. Just enjoyed it when I saw him go back and forth every day. You know.
Yeah.
But it didn't scare me. I didn't have any thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Guess I'm a different breed. And then the next experience was when we were traveling and with my husband when I passed away. We were traveling and we were in a motel room, and him and I had gotten in a little tiff, and so I went and lay down on the couch in what do you call it, one of those suites. We had gotten a suite with a jacuzzi room and everything, and so it had a couch, and I was laying down on the couch and I felt really cold breeze, and I started hearing this noise, and I thought, well, what on earth? There's no central air or air conditioner going. What's going on? And I sat up and I looked, and the rocking chair was rocking to beat 60s.
Huh.
So that was funny.
Yeah.
So of course the tip ended up really quickly, because then I ran into the bedroom and told my husband Byron, said, Byron, I think there's a ghost out there and he's rocking in the rocking chair. Well, I was so naive at the time that he told me that, oh, just shut the door and lay down, and he won't bother you. So that's what I did, went to sleep. which was funny. And then the next day when we were checking out, then she says, I said, we should get a discount. We had because it was $100 and some, and I said, hey, we should get a discount. We had a guest in there last night. She said, oh, yeah, who's that? What happened? And I told her. She says, oh, no extra charge. And she started telling the story about how this spirit would play jokes on the maids and turn on TVs. You know, the, the maids would make the beds, and this spirit would mess up the beds and turn on the water in the bathroom and turn on the TVs. And I went, really? That should be fun. Can you imagine?
Yeah, really.
So I thought that was really, well, those were my first experiences. And then we had moved to Minnesota, and we got in a house, and then all kinds of things started happening in our house, which were fun. And, we just sort of giggled and said, well, we got company. Never once, we weren't ever scared or anything. And then I saw my first spirit in human form, what I would say, fully clothed. And that one freaked me out because it was some guy. I didn't know who he was, and he was in a burqa. I was talking to my sister on the telephone, and I walked into the office, and I saw with my peripheral vision that somebody was standing by the window. So I turned and I looked, and there he is, old as you please, just staring in at me. And I thought, oh my God, somebody's outside. And I thought it was a real person. And I told my sister, I said, oh my goodness, there's somebody staring at me through my office window with a parka, some guy. She said, is your doors locked? I said, oh, I don't know. So I took up running to lock the front door and lock the back door. And I peeked out the windows, to see if there was a car or whose car it was. And there was nothing in my driveway. Nothing, nowhere. And I'd come running back into the office to look, and he was gone. So I went to the window and looked out, looked all around, looked through the back, looked all around. There was nobody walking, nobody driving, no tracks in our driveway. So then my husband, he called me from work, and I said, when you come home, I want you to, look around the outside and see if there's any footprints or car tracks or something, because some guy was staring at me with the parka. He goes, who was it? I said, I have no clue. So he came home, and it was in the middle of the winter time, and he said, it's all snow all under the windows, and the sidewalk had never been cleared off because we didn't use the gate where it was at. He said, there's no way. He said, there's no footprints. There's no extra car tracks. There's nothing. I said, well, I'm sorry, but I saw him, plain as day. And he said, well, I hate to say this to him, but I got a feeling you saw a ghost, a spirit. I went, holy Dinah. That was the only thing that it could possibly have been. But then I still really didn't much think about it, but I had been trying to communicate to my angels and spirits, and that's on a different channel. And then when I saw my mother had passed away June 2nd in 2011, and I was over at her house, and we were working in the garden, and I had to go in. I decided to pick rhubarb, so I went in the house to go get a knife and a pail to put the rhubarb in. And when I did, I turned and I was going back out the kitchen. And my peripheral vision, I saw movement, and I turned and I looked. And I saw my mother plain as day, just like she was alive.
Cool.
You know, in her shorts and shirt and shoes, and she had hair and skin, the whole thing. And she had gotten up and out of her chair that she usually sits in, and she stood up and walked right into the dining room. And I'm watching her in total awe. And I go, Mother, Mother, is that you? And then she just disappeared.
Huh.
Oh, and then I had seen when we moved into this house, I had saw that little Indian girl, a young teenage girl. Every day I would see her, and she was fully clothed, and she had blue jeans on and everything. And she'd come around the neighbor's house, right in the front of the house. She'd come around the sidewalk, come around on the side of the house, and she'd get about 5 feet on the side of the house, and then just disappear in midair. Otherwise, when I first saw her, I thought she was actually, oh, a Native American gal that was living next door or visiting or something, until she disappeared in midair. And then I went, oh, there's something to this, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then when my mother passed away, well, then, well, of course, which there's other videos regarding the touch tone lamp, which people can watch, because that was a really interesting, unique thing of our family is the touch tone lamp, how it comes on at certain times.
Yeah.
And my mother had, after she had passed away, well, then we had watched some of these paranormal shows, and Byron, my husband, at the time had checked out these, what are they called?
PSP7.
PSV7s. And he he said, well, since you did see your mother, even though a lot of people would say I saw her because I was grieving and missing her, you know, and I wanted to see her, which they can believe whatever they want. But so he said, why don't we get this? I'll get this for your birthday, and we'll see if we can communicate to your mother. I said, okay. I can talk to my mother, my father, and my angels and spirit guide. And that was my intention. And on my birthday, we didn't have the spirit box yet, and the touchstone lamp came on, so I knew Mother was there visiting, saying happy birthday. And then and then I sat down and I said, Mother, if you're here, pet my hair. And she did. I said, nobody's going to believe this. Can you do it again? And she did it again. And I sat completely still. And she was petting the top of my hair, petting me. So I said, yep, this is true. She's here. She turned on the touch tone lamp. I did see her. They are with us. And then our spirit box came in, and they could check out the rest of the story on that one on our different channel. How beautiful our life has been. But that was my belief, and that was my intention.
Right.
So when you were going to come up here, then I told you, I said, Chuck, I'm not the same person you knew 40 years ago. Things are different. And I told you that I see spirits and I get downloads, what I call downloads, and and the Christmas tree comes on, and the touchstone lamp. So
Yeah.
we got visitors.
Yeah. Found that out real quick.
Yeah.
I was skeptical at first, but I'm open minded. And now that I know that I can communicate with my dad and my brother, you know, life's been a whole lot easier on me. And it's
Yeah.
beautiful. I mean, if that tree comes on, we get the spirit box out and they'll sit and talk to us and tell me things that only we would know. And a lot of people think it's just radio chatter, but how can they tell you things that happened when you was a kid and all that, and my little brother, what we did when we was younger, and you know, then I started believing. I thought, wow, this is cool. You know, I can talk to Dad and Joe.
Mhm. It eased the pain, didn't it?
He what?
It eased the pain a lot.
Oh yeah, really, a lot.
Just
I
opening up to the different possibility that they're there with us. With especially with you, it was a complete turnaround of beliefs because you had never even thought about spirits or what people call as ghosts or anything paranormal. I mean, you've never even thought about anything like that, and you definitely weren't thinking about communicating to passed away loved ones or angels or spirits.
right.
None of the above. So it
No,
was a complete turnaround.
completely. And I love it. And every time that tree comes on, I get excited. I know they're talking to me,
Mm-hmm.
our angels and our spirit guides, and they give us, you know, hope and help us out with our problems. And we have very few problems, and they say live with hope and manifest things, and what you think is what you're going to get, and always think positive. Stay in your heart and stay out of your mind.
There
And
are little counselors,
yeah, definitely.
built-in counselors, which are totally awesome. But what they say, what really got me thinking is after we had gotten the spirit box, and it was really frustrating for me because I couldn't really make out in between the white noise what they were saying, and so I would get frustrated. So I'd say, mother, if that's you, could you please repeat over and over again, so that way there's a chance that I'll understand what you're saying to me. So just repeat it. I mean, just sit here and you just repeat over and over again what you're trying to tell me, what you need me to know. And what it was, she repeated about 20 times. And it was, watch what you think, watch what you say, watch what you think and watch what you say. And I thought, what does that mean? Which we could do different videos about that one. But that one was a really life changer for me. That
Yes,
beautiful birthday present. Well, number one, seeing my mother, and number two, and these other spirits that I was seeing, which we could do a different video about because there was a lot of them that I have seen within the last 5 years. I've seen a lot of different spirits, which we can talk about that in a different one. But it changed my life and opened the possibilities totally. So,
all you're possible.
I mean, I miss my mother, don't get me wrong, I miss calling her, and talking to her, picking up the phone, dialing her number, and, laughing and joking and talking to her. But I know that when I think of her, she's here. And that's what I call my guides that we talk to on the spirit box. That's what they tell me. Think with the love of her, and she'll be right with you. She'll be right there with you.
Right. And I know my dad and little brother are with me all the time too. I haven't seen no spirits yet, but I've seen animals.
You saw Dusty Lee, yeah.
She walked right through my foot. And I seen one jump from the floor to the top of a box, just the shadow of her.
Yeah.
But you just got to believe I will. I am going to see one. I'm going to see them one of these days.
Yeah.
Soon.
Well, there was a lot of things that it was funny because when you first came up here, well, then of course Byron had passed away, and March of 2000, March 3rd, 2014, my husband had passed away, and he had come and visited me. I had seen him, literally seen him by the bed that night when I went to bed. And there was something about an orange triangle. I still haven't figured it out. There was an orange triangle, bright orange triangle. Well, first I looked, and my dog was a black lab. His name was Pell, and he was standing there on his side of the bed, Byron's side of the bed, and he was just staring. And I thought, what is he staring at? And I just laid there, and I sat up in bed, and I was watching how he's acting. And all of a sudden, I saw movement, and I looked, and here's Byron, and he was petting Pell.
Huh.
Pell just kept standing right there, getting petted by him. And I thought, holy Dinah, that is really awesome. And then all of a sudden, I just stood there and watched him for about 10 minutes. And it looked like he had waved at me. And he had waved at me, and I was looking at him, and I said, hello, Byron. I love you, and, talking to him. And I couldn't hear anything back. And I kept, I want to hear something, and then I saw this orange triangle by his hip. What would it be? His left hip. And then it just moved up like this, and right up to the corner of the room. And I was watching that triangle. And then I looked down, and then he just disappeared. And I had whole Dinah. But I knew he was around. And in fact, I had so many confirmations after Byron had passed away, like feathers and coins and pine cones and lights getting turned on or off, the kitchen lights or the Christmas tree lights came on, or like my sister and my niece they had come after he passed away, and we were having a memorial when we had picked up his ashes, his urn. And we were having a memorial at the kitchen table, and Byron and I, every Saturday, we'd always have pizza. So we got a pizza, and we were sitting there at the kitchen table talking about him, and then all of a sudden the Christmas tree came on, and the touch tone light. Right before that, the fan, the light and the fan right up above the table, he had pulled the switch off, turned the switch, he pulled the string so it shut off the light. So we were trying to turn on the light with the switch. And we said, well, it must be a light bulb. So my niece went to change the light bulb, and she changed it, and I flipped the switch, and it still didn't work. And I said, oh, wait a minute. Byron's probably visiting, and he's probably pulled a trick on us. Pull that string and see if he shut it off. And sure he did. She pulled the string, and it came on, and we said, all right, Byron, we knew you were there. So, I mean, thinking about him and knowing that he's here with me all the time, it helped tremendously with the grieving process with him. It's a lot different for when you know that he's here.
Right.
Like one time, it was like a week after he had passed away. It was like 5 days after he had passed away, and I was sitting here in this chair, and all of a sudden I felt like an arm around me. And I just sat still, and I just enjoyed it because I figured it was Byron. And I just sat here, and then that was like for 20 minutes. And then I said, thank you. And then I grabbed the spirit box, and then I talked to him, where people would think I was a little bit touched. But
Yeah.
it was somebody with his personality, because he said, what's up with the 5 days? Because I didn't turn on the spirit box for 5 days, because I still had some old beliefs that you had to wait so many days for them to process through heaven or whatever.
Yeah.
There's so many different beliefs out there that you just didn't know. So I would talk to him, as I was walking around the house or something. I'd find a quarter, and I'd say, thank you, Byron, and stuff like that. But I didn't turn on the spirit box to try to talk to him until 5 days later. And then after I felt his arm around me, that's when I said, okay, I'm going to do the spirit box. So then I turned it on, and he says, what's up with the 5 days? What's up with the 5 days? What are you waiting for? Thought we would have been talking all the time before that. So I said, yep, that's Byron. So plus I've been taught to think what you want and to release your fears, and to believe that all things are possible. So whenever I started mourning him or grieving him, I would just think of him with love, and I would know that he was there. And I knew that he was helping me. He was here with me all the time. And when you came, it was funny because the kitchen light got shut off. The Christmas tree light had come on 21 times in 3 months. The first 3 months you were here.
Yeah.
I had never seen it come on so many times in my life. We've had this, the spirit box and the touchstone lamp in my family it's been going on in my family for years. And never in my life have I ever heard of it happening so many times in such a short time. So I think it was your family was so excited to, I can finally talk to Chuck.
Yeah.
I want to let him know that I'm here.
Yeah, they're definitely here, that's for sure.
And I'm trying to think of other things that were happening at the time when you first got here. That was confirming that they were here. But now you've, I meant, your whole life has changed around. You're thinking more positive and you're open to more possibilities. And of course, we're being counseled by our, if you want to call them angels and spirit guides, our soul family, passed away loved ones, and our soul family. I haven't been able to figure out what to, I don't like labels, but I know that they talk and they answer questions and
Right.
they guide us, you know, and it's all good. It's all, we've never had anything that's ever been negative ever.
Right.
In all the time that this, it's happened, I've never came across anything negative. Only once over at the neighbor's house, but she has a lot of negative going on. But then I just came home and I grounded and shielded and took a shower and then went back over there and cleansed her house for her. And
Yeah.
then everything was dandy pandy.
Right.
That was after she had a seance or something on Halloween. So her and a few friends were partying and she decided it sounded like fun.
Yeah.
But see, I have a complete different belief. I always think positive thoughts, and I've never I've always had positive feedback and positive, whoever's speaking to us on that spirit box, it's always positive.
Right. Always helping us out.
But I have heard voices just like my mother, just like my father, you know. And Byron used to, when we used to talk, he used to have this we'd call her his spirit guide, and she has this high pitched voice, and she talks really fast. And she would come when Byron was in the room, you know, and I'd be sitting on the couch having a spirit box session, and Byron would come home from work, and as soon as he'd walk in the door, you'd hear Evelyn, "Hi, Byron." And now she comes on the spirit box, and when her voice comes on, I figure Byron's here.
Right. Yeah, I've heard her a few times.
Yeah.
Not a few times. Yeah, but that's cool. That light comes on, I get excited, and I know they want to talk to us.
Right.
They're always talking positive, nothing negative.
Yeah.
Cool. Like you said, there are counselors.
Yeah. There's only been, maybe one or two times when I heard any kind of swearing, but that was your brother
Yeah,
when he said I effed up.
yeah. I
Yeah.
effed up. I will listen to you.
Yeah. But that's how we knew it was Joe.
Yeah,
So, you know, but we've never had anybody swearing, and I mean we've been listening to some people's videos and they have different belief systems. I think everything is based on belief, and you get what you believe,
right,
and that's how your life is. You know, just like your belief at the time was they're dead, they're gone, you'll never see them again. So you were totally devastated for 40 years.
right.
In fact, you know, a lot of things because of your belief system. It affected your health, and you know, it's really, really bad. Now your health is, since you've been up here, your health has improved immensely.
Right.
And all your doctors in Ohio were saying, whatever you're doing, Chuck, keep it, keep going, because they've never seen you so healthy and happy.
Right. All because of you. You
And you
talking.
believe.
Yeah. You talking to me. The spirit's talking to me. Our soul family. But I believe it now. Got a completely different belief. They're here with us all the time. And my Uncle Henry was on there one time. And he was talking, we'd go up in the holler and feed the cattle. And he says, remember when we go up in the holler to feed the cattle and you didn't know what the holler was? It's just up on the mountainside. And we go up there every day on the back of his tractor. He had a trailer on there and we go up there. Remember when we did this? Right, you guys ride on the back of the trailer. Go up in the holler. Let's go up in the holler. And only he would know that. And it was
And then your family would start saying, I reckon.
yeah, that's a southern saying.
Oh. Well, I had heard, you know, it didn't even dawn on me, but when you and I were listening some of the first sessions that I had done, we heard I reckon. And I went, really? I didn't remember that that was ever on there until you come up. Then I heard it all the time, you know, on
Yeah,
this session. So I said, must be for you, Chuck, because my mom and dad didn't say that, and neither did my guides. So I
right.
figured it must have been your family.
Yeah,
It was funny.
yeah,
But a lot of people don't believe, you know, and that's okay, you know. But what I wanted to do is do this um, hangout and talk about, open up possibilities to people that their loved ones who have left their body forms, they're still alive. They just, it, your soul, we're our souls. We're just here renting this vehicle, this body form. We're using this body form while we're living on planet Earth.
right.
But we still have a soul, and our soul always lives. Always. Our
Yeah,
soul never die. So open up the possibilities to that. And if they watch some of my other videos where I'm talking about the touch tone lamp, um, that might help them too, because I know that helped with me, with my mother especially.
right.
You know, she had cancer, and well, my father died of bone cancer, and after he had passed away, it was like an hour or two after, and his bedroom was completely dark, and the morticians had come and took his body and everything, and we had been sitting there around the table with mother, and then we went into the living room, and my niece and I were standing in front of my father's bedroom, and his bedroom was pitch dark, and we were talking and visiting, and Cheryl said, my niece said, I'm really getting tired. I think I may go to bed. And I said, where are you going to sleep? And she turned her hand and looked, pointed at my dad's bed. And right then, she says to me, sleep in Grandpa's bed. And right then, my dad's touch-tone lamp that we had, well, it was called the Dustin lamp because their grandson had passed away when he was a little baby. And oh, they'll have to watch the video. But that light had come on, and right then and there we went, oh, Dad's here. He's letting us know he's okay. Immediately. And then so when my mother passed away, I went to town. So I had my father's touch-tone lamp, and when my mother was, hospice had said, it'd be any day now. So we went to town and got a brand new touch-tone lamp, and I put her hands on it, and I said to Mother, hopefully you can hear me now. I'm getting a new touch-tone lamp, and I want you to turn that on every time, when you come visit, especially for holidays. And I said, but right now we're going to put it in your bedroom, because she was in the dining room on a hospital bed. We had her in the dining room so we could, watch her 24/7 and be with her and get her on and do things. So I told her I was going to put the touch-tone lamp on her headboard in her bedroom. I said, so let me know that you're okay after you've passed away. And I'm going to have it at my house, and I want you to turn it on whenever you come. And my brother had brought his touch-tone lamp and put it in the living room. So after Mother had passed away, we all were waiting for the touch-tone lamps to come on. And the one in her bedroom, the one that I set up, that one came on first, within a couple hours, hour or two after she passed away. And then we were all waiting and waiting and waiting for my brother's touch-tone lamp to come on in the living room. And an hour after that, his came on.
Yeah.
So that right there is proof who did it.
Right. Yeah. I believe it.
So like I said, there's too many things in my life that has happened for me to think anything different. Which I can't bring up all the things in this short video. So, and you think of them as you're talking, of the different things that come up. So I had a different belief about it, which made my life, made it a lot easier. Because I always said, I always thought, my mother was a true Christian, and I said, if anybody's going to get their angel wings, it's going to be my mother.
Yeah.
She was just such a beautiful person and never said a negative word about anybody or anything. And, just the kind of person I want to be, a true, beautiful woman. And so that's what I said. Mom's going to have her angel wings immediately when
Right.
she goes up there. So it's just the thoughts, just the mindset that and the beliefs that we have, So I figured my father had already been watching over me, and since he passed away, and he was there watching Mother, which we could do a different video about that because it was pretty cool. And different things that had happened after he passed away. And then, so I knew it was just, I just knew that they were there with us always. And when I thought of them, they were going to be here.
Yeah, I know that.
Uh, and a lot of people have a lot of different beliefs, but you know, it's like I said, with the belief that you had, it was so painful to
Right.
live, to have that kind of belief, you know.
But I've definitely changed my mind about it. Cool. Really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. My life has changed completely.
Yeah. Or
You got a
maybe if you knew what you know now, if you thought the way that you do now, then your life might have been completely different.
Yeah, I know it would have been. But not knowing all that stuff, I thought once you were gone, never see him again. But I'm a believer now.
Yeah. And now you know that, you know, you didn't have to go you didn't have to go to the cemetery to talk to him. He was probably there all the time with you, you know, hoping because everything's based on free will too. So, and if you
Right,
have a different belief system, no matter if your father was there trying to communicate, trying to let you know that he was there, you know, dropping feathers and quarters and turning off lights or turning on lights or whatever, you guys, because of your belief system, you wouldn't have even acknowledged or figured that it was that. You just figured it was somebody else in the house or who knows what it was. Or I must have forgot it on.
right.
So because of your belief system, it made it hard that if they were trying to communicate with you to let you know that they were there, they wouldn't have been able to.
Right.
So the whole idea of this video is to open up possibilities for people, open up your minds to a different possibility.
All things are possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it'll help ease the grieving process,
Right.
and
Sure
it
help.
also opens up free will to being open to the possibilities, so that way you'll be more aware of things going on around you that you'll notice that there's showing you signs.
Right.
Because I figured I knew that after Byron passed away, I knew he would.
Yeah.
I knew he would. That if he could, he would. And he did. So the most funniest part one was Byron and I, uh, we read on the internet that pine cones were spiritual. And so we were studying, you know, to be spiritual or however you want to label it. I don't know. And so we had all these beautiful pine cones around. You know, I'd keep some pine cones here in the office by me. And we had some in the headboard. And then I had some in the living room. And those three places we kept them. And when after he had passed away, my son was up here. And And I have been noticing pine cones. I would walk into the kitchen and I'd step on something, I'd look down and it would be a pine cone. So I said, hello, Byron, you know, so I knew Byron was doing it. Well, this one day it was funny because my son had come and I was in the office here doing stuff. And my son was in the kitchen and he had his computer in the kitchen table. And he was busy doing stuff. And then he looked down and he saw a couple pine cones and later on a bunch more pine cones. And he looked, what the heck, where's them pine cones coming from? So he said he got up and he picked them up and put them up on the table thing there, the white table thing that's next to, the cupboard. I got this white, I don't know, what do you call it?
Utility card.
Yeah, utility card. And I guess he put it there. And then he'd start playing his game, and a while later they'd all be on the floor again.
Huh.
And so I come in and I had saw some on the floor, so I come in and I picked up the pine cones and I said thank you. And my son goes, Mom, what on earth is up with them pine cones? And I said, why? He goes, it's just crazy. He says they just keep on appearing all over the place. They just keep popping up. He says, I don't know what's going on. I said, oh, that's Byron. He's just letting you know that he's here. He's here with you. Well, of course, my son at the time, he doesn't really believe. He doesn't know what to believe, which is fine too, because then you're a little open to possibilities. And he said, really? I said, yeah. He goes, why pine cones? And I said, well, because they're spiritual, And I said he just wanted to probably find something unique to let us know that it's him. So from then on, pine cones stood up. He knew it was Byron. Well, then quarters had started appearing, on the floor. Quarters and nickels and pennies and dimes. And I'd pick it up and I'd put them in these bags. And I'd say, thank you, I'm grateful, thank you, Byron, thank you, angels. And so he had some quarters had fallen down, or they were down on the floor, and I walked by and I picked him up, and I go, thank you, Byron. He goes, you're thanking Byron? And I said, yeah. I said, he's letting us know he's here. He's giving you quarters? And I said, yeah. I said, he's been dropping quarters down a lot. And then, of course, he said, oh, Byron, we're so grateful for the quarters, but, Mom could really use some help. $100 bills would be awesome. I just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. I thought that was the cutest thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if there was any signs that were in particular that we knew that it was your father, or since you've been here. See, that's why they say to write a blog and keep notes.
Yeah.
So you don't forget all these beautiful miracles that happen.
Right.
What advice would you tell people who have a belief system like yours? And then we suppose we better close. I don't know how long we've been talking.
Well, I would say that they're always there with you. You always got to stay in your heart, and all things are possible. And they're spirits, and they're souls just like us. Everybody's got a soul. And just think positive, because they're always here with us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sure made me a believer. I believe it now. I didn't before, but I do now.
I'm glad you were open up to the possibilities.
Yeah, I was
It's,
skeptical at first.
especially, and you had a good soul because when I told you about it, you just at least you didn't think that I had flipped my lid.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This girl flipped her cookie. I had to come up here and see it for myself, but it's exciting, let me tell you. I can talk to them anytime I want, and I know they're probably sitting here right next to me right now. Joe's sitting over here.
Now you
Great.
don't have the EMF meter there.
Yeah,
We should have had the EMF meters going, but it's pretty cool when we're talking to them, and then especially sometimes when you'll say, like a couple times, like you'd say, "Dad, are you around? Are you here?" And then, is that, do you got something to tell me, Dad? And then that EMF meter would go floop, 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 right, red.
right. That was cool.
Flash.
Right there with me.
That was cool.
Yeah,
We'd be talking away, and then all of a sudden it would flash.
yeah,
Seemed like it was like, you know, make it a point. If it was something in our conversation, and then all of a sudden it's like they were making a point. Hey, I'm here. I love that EMF meter.
yeah, yeah. But I would say just definitely believe because they're here with us all the time.
Well, and then even without, since you've been here, um, we did that interview. I did that interview with you. I was just saying, hey, as long as we're going on a trip, we might as well bring the recorder, and I'll interview you about how we got together after 40 years. And then I just had a regular tape recorder, you know,
Yeah,
my RCA tape recorder, digital recorder, and I was taping you and tape recording you, and all of a sudden when we got back home, we were listening to the interview with the tape recording, and we heard voices, spirit voices on there. That
yeah,
just totally blew me away. That was really awesome. I was so excited.
yeah. That was one memorable trip.
It was fun. I
Yeah,
mean, it even made it even more fun when we got back home, and then we heard those EVPs that were totally, I mean, I've never heard such a thing. And those were what I would say class A EVPs. I mean, they're clear. You don't need headphones. You don't need nothing. You don't have to strain yourself to hear it. I mean,
right,
they come straight out. So it was like they were riding in the pickup with us.
right. They were there with us,
Yeah,
guiding the way.
yeah. Well, that I know because, well, I have faith. I have faith in writing my story and thinking positive thoughts and creating a good life with your thoughts and your belief system. And I've been working a lot on that. But I do believe that my guides, my spirit guides and angels are always with us. And I have belief that my passed away loved ones are part of them, the group, my
Yeah,
soul family, and they watch over us. So I know when it was really foggy and we were getting into Duluth there, and we couldn't even see, and we were looking for a copper top
church.
church. Yeah. And I said, wow, how can we see the copper top church? We couldn't even see hardly in front of us. It was foggy and drizzling. And so I said the prayer and said, can you please Can you please clear this up, so we can find our way? And within a couple minutes, it was like, it was a miracle.
Totally gone. No fog at all.
It was a miracle. It was a miracle from heaven above.
Yeah, and then we didn't know where we was at. We pulled in a gas station and asked where the motel was. It says right down the street, first right block down the road to the right. There it was. And on the way home from court, we uh, took a wrong turn, went through downtown Duluth, and we took like a 20-minute tour of downtown Duluth. We saw this guy chipping wood. We pulled over and asked him where the highway was. Next block, take a right. First street, take a right. There we were. And then you was wanting to go to the Olive Garden. We stopped and got gas. And I asked where the Olive Garden was. One block down the street to the right, and there it is. I mean, everything just fell into place.
See, when you're in your heart place and you follow your heart and when you're in your heart place and doing things that you love, everything goes easier.
Right.
And I found that out so many times within the last few years that I could write a book or two on beautiful miracles and the things that have happened.
Right.
From being following your heart.
Right.
And having faith and having the belief. Removing doubt and having belief and just living your life. It's so beautiful.
Right. Miracles happen all the time.
Mm-hmm. Be open to them.
Open to all possibilities.
Yeah. And I see the angel behind you.
Yeah. There she is.
Yeah, and I've got mine up here, right up above on my computer. Where is she?
There she is.
I'm not quite used to that video camera yet.
You got it in there just right.
Yeah. Well, at least this time I'm not moving my head around being silly. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Takes you a while to get used to being on video because you got to move your head in the opposite direction from what you want.
Yeah.
So funny.
Right.
And look at you. Both of us. I used to hide behind a camera. Or I mean, I would just do talk in the tape recorder and then I would upload it and put my picture up, and that's my videos. I wouldn't show myself. I'm getting
on camera shy.
Yeah. I'm removing all fears in my life.
Yeah.
Fears that do not serve me. And it doesn't matter because we're all human. We're all souls living in our body forms. We just choose, each one of us choose to be in the ones that we are in and just love ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
gotta love yourself.
Mm-hmm. And people will love you or they'll hate you, one way or the other too. Hopefully we have enough positive energy that we attract all the positive people and attract people that need to hear us and are open to hearing us.
Right.
you know, just get it out there.
All things are possible.
Yeah. I noticed it's getting a little darker. It's a little bit darker over in the living room where you are. You
Is
don't
it?
have a, yeah, you don't have like a, we're gonna have to put Dad's um, pole lamp next to you. So when you're in there doing the hangouts, you can turn it on so it's a little bit brighter, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little bit darker in there because that wall is supposed to be like a really pretty um, what do you call it? Camouflage green, and it sort of looks yellow on that camera.
Yeah.
Weird. Well, it might either be your camera or it's the lighting in there.
Probably the lighting.
Yeah. Well, we'll stop boring people. We'll say goodnight. We love everybody. Send lots of love and light. We hope it helps. And if it does help, leave a comment. If you have any questions, please ask, and we'll do another hangout and answer questions. Because we're here to help people and share the stuff that we've experienced.
Sure has helped me out a lot.
Yeah. And if we can share our experiences and it helps them, well, that's what we want, to be able to help other people. We love people and we like to help people.
Right.
At least, so they're not suffering so much pain and grief and sorrow.
Yeah, like I was.
Hmm. Yeah. Because believe me, I mean, my times come, when I leave my physical form, I'm going to be, hopefully, my children and my loved ones will be open to me visiting and showing them signs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they were.
can't go against their free will, so hopefully, you know, they'll be noticing that I'm there with them. Hopefully,
Yeah,
they'll be open to
all possibilities.
knowing
Write,
that
write it into your story. They will.
Mama, Mama will be doing it. Will be showing them signs.
Yeah,
And see, that's my belief too. I mean, I knew that my mother would, and I was hoping that my father would show us a sign that he's there with us. And I had written it in belief that my mother would, and she did.
yeah.
And I knew that Byron would, and he did many, 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 many times. So, you know, it makes life a whole lot easier knowing that they're there,
Right.
even without the spirit box. You know,
Yeah.
just just um, just the belief of it, of knowing. I still haven't gotten used to where to look with my eyes. I'll get used to it.
Did a fine job.
You did too. Thank
Well,
you so much.
thank you for having me.
And I'm glad that your health is better and your life is better. That makes my heart sing.
Yeah, believe me, it makes my heart sing too. It's all because of you. Thank you.
Now
Well,
you're,
appreciate it.
well, you're welcome. You're welcome. And you're even getting on videos and talking and expressing yourself, which is awesome. I'm proud of you.
Never thought I'd do it.
Well, you just hang around here and you'll be doing a lot more stuff that you think you won't be doing.
I'll be hanging around for a long time.
Yeah, writing that into our story.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. If you have questions, leave questions. You can get a hold of me on Google Plus. Leave your comments behind you underneath our YouTube video. Get a hold of us on Facebook, Twitter. I'm all over the place. Look for D Westcott. And come join me and ask me any questions. I'll be happy to answer. And Jack and I can do some more videos.
All righty.
All righty. We love y'all. Mwah. See y'all later, everyone. Good night. Have a wonderful weekend. It's what? Is it Friday today?
Yeah.
See what happens when you live your life and loving it. I can't keep track of the days, and it's so beautiful. It's
Yeah,
a
it is.
wonderful life.
Yeah. Sure
So
is.
the days sort of blend and they're wonderful. But have a wonderful weekend, everyone. And write positive stories.
Right.
Okay. See you
Peace
later.
out. Later.